Hello and welcome to another Royally Rich Lifestyle show on ALB UK TV with me, Ian Pelham Turner.
And with me, Helena Chard.
Let's roll the titles and let's get on with the show. Well, it's a fun-packed show and full of royal news today as well. And where are
It
you? Don't
is.
tell me you're at Buckingham Palace. I will scream.
I
Where are you
am.
today?
I am in North London. I'm not. I'm going to be in Buckingham Palace later, and I'm
Well, there
actually
you go.
balancing my filming equipment. But I'm hoping it's all going to go well.
Well,
But
there you go.
very good to
So,
see you.
anyway, Zelensky and King Charles, what's been going on?
Yes. So Zelensky was so happy that he had his request to meet King Charles agreed. As we know, King Starmer chaired the summit meeting, and it's all towards peace, etc. for Ukraine. After the terrible spat at the White House, lots of people turned up to actually see Zelensky meeting Charles at Sandringham, and they had a really great chat. I mean, obviously, it's a good thing because Charles was, top diplomacy. He wouldn't have been speaking about Trump, obviously, but he is learning from the greatest, the Queen Elizabeth, so he knows what to do. He doesn't obviously want to cause any further upset with Trump. But anyway, he was warmly received. That was the main thing. People were flying the flag. They enjoyed tea in Sandringham's saloon room. And Zelensky said it was a really great meeting. So that's all very good news. And I think now the new thing is that Zelensky is ready to agree a way forward
Well,
with Trump. And he's obviously very thankful. I personally can't see it myself, but that's just my personal thoughts. It
I,
would be great.
I, I,
But
yeah, I, I,
what are your
I,
thoughts?
I think the reality is that he's been bullied into it. Let's be honest, and I understand that remuneration is probably needed to pay back for all the money that America and other countries have put into it. Although most other countries have not asked for that either.
Mm,
And I think for me at the moment, when you meet tyranny with more tyranny, as I feel it's happening
mm,
right now, then where has the world got to? And it is said that Trump is doing all this as a rather strange way of actually charming Putin in one way, and then he's going to jump on Putin next.
That's
I,
his
I, I,
tactics. That's his tactics. He plays that game, I think, with everything,
yeah.
is my
So,
feeling. And I just think, the courage and resilience that Ukrainian people have like shown in the face of tragedy, it's after all these years as well. It's like I don't think he's going to want to agree to anything really. I mean, they did jump on him, didn't they? Wanted him to sign a deal
yeah.
worth billions there and then. But
Yeah. you know,
let's just
and getting,
hope and pray.
and at the same time, Trump, telling everyone to get out of Gaza so that he can create this,
Yeah.
you know,
His own beach, it seems. Yeah.
you know,
Have you seen that? There's that AI thing that's going around with them all on the
oh,
sunbeds. I mean, it just is, it beggars
it
belief, doesn't
anyway.
it?
We
But
have
anyway,
great American friends, with Dr. Jacqueline Kovac and USA Global TV and Radio. So I don't want to talk down America at the same time. But the only thing I would
no,
say
not.
is that on the back of the speech that he did last night, the dollar has plummeted this morning. It is not, and it's gone the wrong way for Trump. So it'll be very interesting to
Uh,
see what Trump says next. Anyway, what's going
yes.
on next with
Move,
Charles?
yeah, so Charles again. So ahead of the start of Ramadan, that's the Muslim holy month. So that actually began the 28th of February and ends on the 30th of March. But It's obviously it's to do with fasting and prayer, and he attended, which I think is probably the best, wonderful Indian restaurant. It's called the Darjeeling Express in Carnaby Street. It's actually a female-run restaurant. And he, along with Queen Camilla, they were helping make food parcels that were going to be sent to hospitals for when the patients were breaking their fast. We've seen him, they were packaging dates, and it was like a conveyor belt thing going, and they were being very quick, I have to say, putting these dates in packages.
You're sure this wasn't a crafty takeaway to go back to the palace with? You know?
I'm sure they got some. I'm sure they do were given it anyway, but it's supposed to be so delicious. So I haven't been there, but I have been told it's fantastic.
Well, I tell you what, because of all the work that you've done this week, I will take you there. That's a promise.
Oh, well, that's lovely. I shall say thank you. Thank you. That's very kind. I will say yes. But the good thing also, I didn't realise that fruits are used to break fasts. So that's why dates are used. And the good thing as well, the king was very jolly. He's really in good spirits at the moment. So he's in a good place, which is lovely to hear. But it's fun, isn't it? Oh, I'm really looking forward to my Indian now.
Oh, well, there you go. And that's a promise. It's on film, so I can't get out of it.
It's a promise. I'll let you know next week, guys, if he keeps his promise. Anyway, but moving on to Queen Camilla, and she's so great as well. You know, she has this long-standing commitment to championing literacy and creative writing, and supported the 500 words competition since 2015. We spoke about this last year. So once a year this happens, and she was at Buckingham Palace with the finals of the young people. It's for children aged 5 to 11, a writing competition, and I think 50 people were invited to the palace in recognition of their remarkable stories. And the stories were read out. 6 of the stories were read out by the greats of Olivia Colman, Tom Fletcher from Let Fly, Matt Lucas, lots of people that are well known here in the UK. And the winners were crowned, but they all had a really lovely time in Buckingham Palace. And it's great that she champions literacy with young people, because it's absolutely needed more than ever, I think, now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think, you know, I think the reality at the moment, as you know, is that both of us are very keen on working with young people now, and there's a lot of opportunities that we hope to sort of work with that will give young people a voice in Britain. And, you know, who knows, you know, what we can do in the future with things like, you know, what Camilla is doing as well. So it's a great thing that she's doing as well.
It is. 2015, goodness me, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And moving on with Love, Meghan, the lifestyle show, was out yesterday. I was there. It was aired, I think, at 8 o'clock in UK time, because I was writing down my thoughts for a platform. I think you were later on as well, Ian, weren't you? Yeah. And yes, I mean, goodness me, you know, the good thing is at least it's out, which is good, because I know it's been delayed. And for me, it wasn't so great. And I do love things like that. I'm very much into the great outdoors, gardening, and wonderful things like that. But I just didn't have enough substance, and it was all a little bit too simple. But she has got great handwriting, that I must say. And she writes the labels and puts it on the jam. I mean, great, her. And I think as well, to remember, this is actually although this is the Netflix series, very short episodes, it is actually the launch of her new brand, which is As Ever. That's a homemaking brand. But I suppose I had higher expectations, and I found it a little bit boring, to be quite honest. But as I think, you know, maybe it's to be aspirational, and especially at a time like this, it can either be taken as being fickle or giving people a little outlet to dream. Okay. I don't know what you think. Well, there you go.
As you know, we're like yin and yang on this one, because I adore Meghan. First of all,
we're not talking about adoring Meghan.
No.
We're talking about her show.
And hang on. And I really enjoyed the show yesterday. I found it very refreshing, very crisp, very well put together. I think she's perhaps the only thing I would say is she's trying to cram too much in on each particular show. But there again, at the moment, it shows her dexterity of what she's actually capable of doing. A couple of really interesting things is that there are snippets there, and if you listen closely, as I do to all women, as you know that, Helena, I always listen to you. And
you might listen, but there's more to it than that.
And part of what she was saying was really good snippets about, you know, how her lifestyle is with her family as well. And I think the best thing of all, so I'm a dog lover, as you know. I'm a cat lover too, but how she made the dog biscuits was something which I thought that could be sort of something that.
Did you like the arranging of the fruit into a rainbow?
I liked all of it because I thought it was very creative. You know, and obviously
creative. It was far too basic. It was too basic. Okay. Actually, and I think the brand endorsement was just too much the whole way through as well. I think that was just going on, and also the sort of revving up, the applauding of everything being so great.
Okay.
It was all. It was just, you know. But okay. I think she will move on to. I think it's a building block, and there'll be something else coming out soon. Well, you mark my words.
I think for her at the moment, you know, as we both discussed, I think the only thing that slightly concerned me was that she looked very slim at the moment. And that could be the LA, you know, sort of silhouette, you know, that sort of happens. But I just think at the moment, I hope she's feeling healthy. I hope she's feeling happy now, you know, with the project at the same time. And who knows, the thing I've discovered, as you know, I'm a great Suits fan as well. And I've now discovered that some of the original members of Suits are now filming Suits LA. And who knows, she might make an appearance again.
We discussed that last week. LA. We discussed that last week. One last thing, which is really quite important. One of the big things that came out was that when she was called Meghan Markle by, I've forgotten the name, Mindy Kaling, is it? See, I don't know the people in it. The stars over there don't mean anything, really. I don't know them. But Mindy Kaling called her Meghan Markle, and she was quite put out because she's Meghan Sussex now.
Well, you know, I think, quite honestly, you know, sometimes, you know, a slip of her name, you know, can happen in anything. And I think, you know, the reality is that in her life right now, I applaud what she's doing. I think she's a tremendous person in her own right. And I think, you know, that I hope this is a really big show and series for her. And yes, I hope she gets onto other things, because I feel that so something like this is very refreshing for change. But that's my personal point of view.
Goodness me! Now, this is not going to be a blockbuster. That I can assure you. It wasn't too thought out. It was it was too basic. But well, as I say, I think she'll move on. And obviously, being called Meghan Sussex, I felt sorry actually for her father and her family.
Well. So that was some really interesting news, as always, from Helena right now. We're just going to take a short break, and then we're going to see what the royals really do at the moment. We've got two fascinating videos. One of King Charles visiting a frigate, and he's dressed in his naval attire. And then one with Prince William at the moment, and seeing what they're doing as well. Let's see the videos.
return to HMS Prince of Wales 19 for what lies ahead over the next Captain, officers and ship's company of HMS Prince of Wales. Ladies and gentlemen, as Honorary Commodore-in-Chief aircraft carriers, I need hardly say that it gives me the greatest possible pleasure to return to HMS Prince of Wales today, just over 5 years since the Queen, your lady's sponsor, and I attended her commissioning in 2019. As you prepare to set sail as the flagship of the UK Carrier Strike Group, building on the success of HMS Queen Elizabeth's inaugural deployment in 2021, I just wanted to express, on behalf of the nation, my heartfelt gratitude for the extraordinarily valuable contributions and personal sacrifices that you and your families continue to make in the name of duty. I can sense the anticipation and excitement amongst many of you today for what lies ahead over the next 8 months. And all I can say is that I will be watching your progress with great interest. This ship represents a powerful emblem of the skill, ingenuity, and strength of the Royal Navy and of the United Kingdom's enduring dedication to promoting and protecting peace and stability across the world. I can only say that I take immense pride in you, the men and women who bring this vessel to life with such indomitable spirit, for your vital service on behalf of us all. I will forever hold an enduring respect for the professionalism, skill, and fellowship that bind a ship's company together. My own time at sea, from a Caribbean tour with 845 Naval Air Squadron in the old commando carrier HMS Hermes, to taking command of the last wooden-walled minehunter in the Royal Navy. So now you can see just how old I am. HMS Bronington, she was, remains one of the most formative and fondest experiences of my life. Flying as a young naval aviator, I still vividly recall my first deck landings on Hermes, moments that left an indelible impression on me, as did the discovery that the Royal Marine Commandos, who all queued up to get into the back of my Wessex 5 helo, only did so because they were convinced my helo was better maintained than any of the others. And all I can say is I came to appreciate not only the immense complexity of operating on and in an aircraft carrier, but also the determination and teamwork required to ensure every element of a ship is bound together. Meeting many of you today, or at least some of you, I have the utmost confidence that the same sense of duty, resilience, and shared purpose that I witnessed all those years ago is as alive as ever it was. Your deployment in the next month comes amidst new challenges in an ever-changing and more unpredictable world. It will undoubtedly demand tenacity and determination, both at sea and for those you leave behind at home. whether protecting vital shipping lanes, fostering partnerships with our allies, or indeed remaining alert and at readiness for eventualities that we hope may never come to pass, your work helps to ensure the safety and prosperity of the United Kingdom, our allies, and our partners. This deployment, then, marks the culmination of a great deal of training and preparation, for which you should all be immensely proud. Cherish the next few months as you put into practice that which you have learnt and the skills you have honed over all these weeks of enormous effort. May fair winds and following seas accompany you all. And by the way, I wanted to congratulate the Guard of Honor for the incredibly smart performance they gave when I arrived. Considering they're all volunteers, we've got many more important things to do. So well done. And maybe with the permission of the captain and the Thessalor, I can spice the main brace at some point in time when it might come in handy. Thank you, Liz, President.
Really came out of the COVID era and what we learned from that, how we need to more and more look after our staff. And this is, with £3 million, this is what we built for it.
Stephen Mouse, Chief Executive. Very nice to see you.
Peter
Phippers, NHS Charities.
Yeah, so this was an old building, about the same age as the one you visited last time, but it's got a checkered history, hasn't it, this one?
Yeah, so the building, 1878, because it was quite near to where one of the governors of the hospital, Rob Ross Hospital, that was then the school, running school, and he was kind of on. But the building then went.
It's been 3 years since it's been built, is it?
Yeah, it's being built,
Yes.
just
Yeah.
after.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Have you noticed a difference in the workforce in terms of being able to access this? Felt like they're valued and that we look more at?
You know, actually some of the things that we've kind of learned through that COVID experience is just how important it is to look after the community since then. But those demands have continued. So having an environment where you can kind of support staff with... Yes, Peter.
And thank you for your support, by the way, yours and the Princess of Wales from NHS Charities together. The context is we're now 5 years on from the start of COVID. The first death. We've tried to ensure that the money goes into areas that is slightly to one side of what you would expect public funding to go into.
And to manage to get all around the UK.
Yeah.
And that'd be interesting. What have you identified around the UK, certain hotspots or certain areas which maybe haven't been supported as well in the past, and actually your support has been a huge amount.
Yeah, our supporters has tried to reach
Most of the staff. Have you noticed a big change in all that now, or is it still certain areas we need to work better at?
Let me take you in. And I think we have a cup of tea available for you if you would like one. But
Where should I sit here? Very handy your badges.
So would you like a cup of tea?
Actually, I'm all right at the moment. Sure. Yeah, fine. Good. Who have we got here? Who's...
Staff well-being. My expertise in heart yoga, and which includes the physical movements, and we highlighted the importance of lungs and overall resilience. So, yeah.
And you based in this building, then? Do you see any for NHS workforce? And how regularly are you seeing your patients, which are workforce? You can't say the right words there. But are you getting more and more sort of referrals and more people coming to see you?
People are seeing the benefits and people are referring each other, and we always keep on doing the marketing. So yeah, and its classes are like 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So mainly in the evenings, but
In the class or that's where people relax and talk, and you just talk. What is the mood like amongst?
the same class and feel like that. So and I can see a few are coming back to the with a. A few of my students are here as well.
It's a good point. Exercise probably is quite a hard thing for everyone to get in their day, but when the hours are on runs, that actually being able to come here and do Pilates, yoga, is probably quite a sort of a big part of the plus for their day. Yeah, okay. And Sabi, you do?
So there on the day, but Vini's very good with kind of checking in with students and what kind of yoga are they wanting. Just helping us to work through techniques like regulating the nervous system, etc. So that really helps.
Other parts of the NHS workforce that you don't normally see. You probably see legal every day.
Absolutely.
And actually, when you're on yoga, you might meet somebody from
Yeah.
all parts. It's really important that top down everyone gets to mingle, talk, chat, and see how things are going. And how important for you though is this been? You all talk about it. Has this been a bit of a sort of lifesaver almost for many people the last few years?
Yeah, absolutely, it really has. And I think, as I say, it's that detox that you need. And I'm one of the health and wellbeing champions as well for my team. Let's switch off and then recharge our battery, so to speak. So, and it's worked wonders.
Medals and things like that. You've got to keep doing the training.
Not really in terms of qualifications, but Matt will, I'm sure, go into more details. But Matt hosts the session, so it's very much about attending, being briefed in terms of what's happening around the trust, around the centre, etc. Taking home some really good health and wellbeing messages back to your teams, delivering them locally, sharing the incentives that we have around the trust.
And presumably also it helps your antennae, if you like, be a bit more alert to what's happening around you.
Absolutely.
You can spot people who may be having a bit of a difficult time, which is quite crucial because you become you're the front line of identifying where some of the issues might be.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get lost in your day-to-day work. You forget kind of the health and well-being element. So this is an opportunity to just step back and say, actually, how are my team doing? How are people around me doing? So just having this has been amazing.
Matt, do I take it then yours to do with mental health side of things?
Yeah, good morning sir, it's a privilege to have you here. My name is Matt, I'm the Staff Health and Wellbeing Lead. So I joined in the middle of COVID in response to coordinate, oversee, manage, try and develop our staff health and wellbeing offering, of which this building has very quickly become that flagship sort of project. And as an organisation, we've grown. Each year there's an NHS staff survey, and we're really proud in the last few years and hoping to be so again with the upcoming results from the previous survey that we're one of the leading acute NHS trusts for supporting staff health. So Rushka, who sat next to me, is dedicated mental health, and I'm sure Rushka will tell you more in a moment. My role was across the breadth of staff health and wellbeing, so physical health, mental health, financial well-being as well, being the key topics. Some of my projects have been developing staff health checks, so we've seen now nearly 2,000 of our staff that have come through for a preventative cardiovascular metabolic disease. From a mental health perspective that I know you're very interested on and developed, and that's a peer-led support service that focuses on the impact of a traumatic cardiac rehabilitation. If we know we do early CPR, then that can help with physical outcomes. With the TRIM service, the trauma support service, it's about early support for that mental health and supporting staff on the impact an event has had on them.
Yeah. So the reason why I asked that question was just how far back can we go in terms of when mental health was valued, if you like, by organisations that may not have seen it before? Because it's quite an interesting point as we go back. I mean, everyone knows COVID now is, you know, one of those moments we all look back on and go, God, how did we all get through that? Particularly NHS. I mean, you guys, obviously, it doesn't need saying how difficult it was for you, but it's quite interesting to work out how far back mental health suddenly became, you know, a key role that everyone values being a part of it. Do you, in terms of the trauma side of things, have we learnt certain processes and new procedures after COVID as to how we identify, how we deal with certain issues, problems, time off for people?
Yeah, definitely for me, I think it's been rewriting that narrative around working in the NHS being tough, and not many jobs you come to, hopefully, where you go to work and you traumatic cases and people dying, that actually that can still have an impact, and that's okay, and it's okay to talk about that and reach out for the support.
The thing that you two will say more than anyone else is the fact that everyone in the NHS is there to care for others. So the last person who gets looked after is the individual. And I've seen that when I work with, you know, doctors, nurses, everyone, paramedics. They always put it down the line. And it's fine because they don't want to put someone else, their workload on someone else either. So how do you go around identifying the right people? Because for me, looking into the nation's mental health, if you like, over the last few years, is that unless there's almost a problem over and again.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Lovely to meet you.
How do that hospital pass?
I'm Dr. Richard Walton. I'm a clinical psychologist and I lead on the Staff Psychological Support Service. So very much thinking about that and thinking very much about compassion, and it not just being about from self to others, but also how we receive compassion. We're not compassionate to others, it just means that we're important too, and that's a lot of the work that I do with staff, is really sort of talk about that yet, or have dealt with that in different ways, because we all have different ways of coping and managing.
It's so important.
Yes, absolutely.
Not just for patients, but also for you guys to get out in fresh air and see some greenery. It's really important.
Yeah.
So how were you here in COVID?
Yes, I was here in COVID. We treated the first patient that had COVID in the hospital, and yeah, I mean it's really difficult to think about that. It's been 5 years already, a lot of things have happened. I remember doing some swabs to patients back in the end of February in 2020 with not knowing a lot around that.
So wasn't that interesting? I mean, it's wonderful sometimes to actually work with the royal family as well and sort of show exactly what they're doing. They're a great family to work with. What do you think, Helena?
Oh gosh, absolutely. They're a great family to work with. We've had years and years of experience, Ian, and it's all been fabulous. And I just think it's that they do so much good for our country. And at the moment where it's, who are teetering around, wondering what's going on, it's always good to have the royal family under our belt. The soft touch that we need.
Absolutely. So anyway, now it is time to say goodbye again this week. So for me, Ian Pelham Turner.
And from me, Helena Chard. We'll bring you lots of news next week, lots of royal news, and have a fabulous guest will be on.
Absolutely. And can, as always, thank ALB UK TV for all their assistance in creating this show, and Helena Castrati. Can I thank Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck from USA Global TV and Radio for putting up our show on other platforms as well, including her streaming platform. Can I also thank Nancy Duen, our wonderful lady from China who's helping us. And can I thank Honey Kalari as well, who's coming back shortly and hopefully will sort of be supporting us even more. So let's roll the titles now. Have a great week, and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye for now.